Next question from Chris Butler. Is there a chance, wrong there, sorry I had to do it, that the Giants don't take a quarterback in 6 and they take one at 17? Yes, there is.
I mean, who do you think would be the quarterback that would fall to 17? Drew Lock?
Daniel Jones,
but
the absolute worst case scenario for the Giants, and I have a mock draft coming out tomorrow. Raiders fans hate me, but Giants fans are in much better shape because the worst case scenario for the Giants, and I couldn't do it to them, is they take a good player like a Montez Sweat or Jawan Taylor, but then they draft Daniel Jones at number 17 because Cutcliffe. That's the worst outcome for the New York Giants.
I would be so happy if that would happen.
It would be a disaster. Do not take Daniel Jones in round 1. Now, again, we'll get some more comments here from Tanner Mullins. Are the Colts the team to fear in the AFC? Well, I still think it's the Patriots. But then
Chiefs.
The Chiefs, Colts, Browns. There you go. We picked the division winners just like that. Boom. Book it.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Exactly. All right, from Penguin622, who has had some fun in the comment section tonight. How exactly will the Patriots fix their tight end issues? There's no way Hawker Fant lasts until 32. Well, as I'm currently tweeting about on Twitter, you can't actually play the no way game for the NFL draft.
It's my favorite.
There was no way Derwin James was going to go number 17, right?
Yep.
There's no way, right? But every year, there's no way Jonathan Allen falls out of the top 10. Every year, there's at least 1 or 2 of those no-way guys, and if quarterbacks go early, look, we keep saying there's like 15 top 10 locks. The math says no. Now, I don't think those guys fall, but what if we get to like pick 21 or pick 22, and Fant is still on the board, or Hawk is still on the board?
You can see the Patriots go up.
Then the Patriots trade up.
I just think the entire NFL is like getting around, and they're like, all right, there's 2 things we know. 1, can't let Kraft go get a massage. And 2, we can't let the Patriots get a tight end.
We say that, but the Patriots always find ways to get really good players. It helps that they develop them very well. But beyond that, there are other tight ends, Jay Sternberger, Irv Smith, some other lesser-known players I think make some sense there. So, that's just some options there for the Patriots in round 1. All right, John Edward Krueger says, stop hating on Daniel Jones. Producer Brett tried to hide it, but I saw it earlier. Here's the thing, though. He's bad. He's not a good prospect right now. He has a round 4 grade from me. So if you take him in round 4, good pick.
I'll be honest, I thought we were about to end the show.
Mitch was real confused because he had no idea what was going on.
All right, here we go. Wrap it up.
Producer Brett got too cute there. So, look, he's accurate in the short term, but if you're expecting him to come in and be this elite prospect right away, it's probably not going to happen.
Hey, I've heard you hate Daniel Jones, and I've heard you hate Josh Allen.
You guys know that I don't like Josh Allen. I'm taking Josh Allen before Daniel Jones by far.
Wow.
Yeah, and that is as a prospect, not based on what we saw this season.
All right, Chase, Harrington, let's get Tom a little bit cooled down here. What are some teams that could trade up from the...
Second round is what he means. So moving in from the late second round, or from early second round into that late first round range. The Niners and Jets don't have a lot of draft capital. I think a team like maybe the Giants makes some sense. That's a bit of a leapfrog up, but if they don't go quarterback with their first couple picks, maybe they decide, you know what, Jones or Locke or someone's on the board that they like there, 28, 29, they leapfrog up. Beyond that, it gets a little bit dicey. I don't know if you're going to quite see the amount of movement in that late first round range.
Okay.
I think where you'll see the movement is in that 15 to 25 range. Teams moving up from the late first round, teams like the Chiefs and the Patriots that have a lot of draft capital moving up to get players.
Like the Raiders.
Like the Raiders, if they want to trade down from 24, 27 to get maybe a third round pick to replace when they traded away for Antonio Brown. Just an idea out there.
Yep.
There you go.
All right, Zach, what do we got?
Will the Lions target a quarterback in this draft? Yes, but it might not be an early round quarterback. The Lions' general MO, and this is Bob Quinn's MO, is they want to take a quarterback. And it's not the worst, in fact, it's actually pretty good logic. If you're in round 5, round 6, round 7, you'd rather get lucky, because that's what happens in those rounds, get lucky on a quarterback than get lucky on a defensive lineman, because the value's so outlandishly in favor of QB.
Yeah.
I mean, if you find a Jacoby Brissett somehow in those middle rounds, which I know is a bit earlier than the mid rounds I mentioned, but if you find that value, or if you even just get an A.J. McCarron,
Yep.
If the Browns hadn't botched it, they would have got a mid-round pick back for him. And to find that type of valuable backup makes some sense.
I guess. I just think if
Granted, it's not a great quarterback class.
Yeah, that's my only real issue. All right, real Jacob, you look like a Lions fan. Will the Lions draft Dwayne Haskins? I'm gonna say no.
I would be stunned if they went quarterback. That would be probably like the biggest kind of see the logic behind it surprise. Beyond just like something totally off the rails, like the Seahawks going Rashad Penny.
If you're the Lions, you got to say, all right, how can I possibly compete with the Packers? Still have Aaron Rodgers, right? So as long as they still have Aaron Rodgers, I understand they only had 5 wins last year. They're going to compete. The Bears, you could argue, one of the best teams in the NFL. They had 12 wins last year, and would expect the Vikings to be better. If the Lions want to actually compete, you don't go out and draft Dwayne Haskins. And you know how much I hate Matthew Stafford.
And all of their moves so far have been, we're going to win right now with our current regime. Because especially if you're Bob Quinn and you're Matt Patricia, you draft a quarterback, you're kind of like, well, we're going to punt the next year and a half. Do you have the job security?
Probably
not. All right, Christian Meza, who should the Vikings take in the draft in the first round? I think they'll look a couple different ways. I think interior defensive line makes some sense. If I'm Minnesota, I am crossing my fingers that Jonah Williams falls to me. I think that would be the ideal pick for them.
Man, I think it's crazy. 2 months ago, we were talking about Jonah Williams being a potential top 5 pick.
This is what the NFL does. They find these really good prospects and say, he doesn't quite fit the ever-growing arm length of it. It's 33. 33 is the threshold. And once Williams checked in at 33 and a half, and this is from ESPN NFL.com, saying it's actually 34. Or someone said it's 34 and a half. I'm like, you guys are insane. Stop adjusting the thresholds. For Jonah, I know he's not the biggest or strongest guy, and he's not the world's greatest athlete. You don't have to be if your technique is really good. That's what Jonah is. But he is not going to be the first tackle off the board, I don't think. He's going to be my top guy, but I think Jawan Taylor, maybe Andre Dillard go before him.
Because of upside?
Upside. Taylor's a better athlete, and he's still kind of developing a little bit there. Jonah is very much polished as a prospect, which is not a bad thing in my eyes, but maybe the upside isn't as high. Some want to put him at guard or center. Keep him at tackle. I think he's a really good player. He'll slide a little bit, and if you're Minnesota, take him. You can put him at guard if you want, or kick Riley Reef inside the guard, and you solidify your offensive line in a big, big way there.
Sounds good. All right, Johnny Gonzales, have the Steelers lost too much to keep up with the rest of the AFC? I think that you need to rephrase your question and say the AFC North.
Yes, in the sense that it should focus on the AFC North, but they're still going to compete. Like, if the Steelers win less than 8 games, I'll be very surprised.
So
they're at least a 500 team.
I don't disagree. I mean, the Bengals are the worst team in that division.
Yep.
The Ravens, I could still see winning 8 games.
It's an elongated tanking plan to get Trevor Lawrence.
I still see this. Here's the thing. I still see the Ravens winning 8 games. You and I both think the Browns will win 10 games.
Or 11. AFC North champs, baby.
And then, can you have 3 teams with over 8 or 9 wins?
Yeah, you can make it happen. You just gotta win your non-divisional games. It's
tough.
Very doable for Pittsburgh. Now, they're going to keep up, but in the end, I don't think they win the division this year.
I don't either.
That's just me. I have a very dangerous bet with a friend on that game. But first name, last name. I like that. It's pretty funny. Do the Cowboys still bring in Eric Berry? I don't think they've completely ruled it out, but I think the addition of George Iloka makes it a lot less likely. I think he ends up in Cleveland. It's perfect.
I love Eric Berry. Great story, great player. But when you play in 3 games the last 2 years, the injuries are just getting up there. And when you have a devastating injury like the Achilles, man.
That heel's not right.
I love Eric, but he's just not there. He's not the Eric Berry that we know and love. It's just the name.
Which is why you're not paying him $50 million. You're not paying him even $10 million. You pay him, and this is the contract I would offer, limited signing bonus. Let's make it about a $2 million signing bonus.
Okay.
Base salary of $1 million. Your cap hit's going to be $3 million. And then you load it with incentives, because the way incentives works, it's likely to be earned or not likely to be earned based on last year's numbers. So you can make it based on tackles or sacks or just games played, and those are all not likely to be earned because Berry played in 2 games last year.
Yeah.
So your cap hit's going to come in at like $3.5 million, and then you can borrow future cap hits. If he does play, you're fine, because if he plays in all 16 games, and let's say the incentives are like I don't know, $250,000 per game, an extra $4 million there, you're glad to pay that because he played in all 16 games.
I like it. I like it, Tom.
Look at me. You're welcome, everyone who wants to sign Eric Berry.
I will look at you, Tom. And I'm also going to look at BetDSI and the promo code that they've given us, the best promo code on the internet, Live120 for 120% deposit bonus. Chatsports.com/bet. You can bet on the NFL Draft, March Madness games, MLB. There's one place to do it, the internet's #1 sportsbook. It's at BetDSI.
Right. Daniel Gamez, or Games, whatever it is, who or what do you see the Cowboys moving up in the first round to get? I don't think they're going to move up into round 1. It's really expensive. You're going to have to go basically what the Ravens gave up to get Lamar Jackson last year. A mid-round pick, a fourth-round pick, a second this year, and a second next year. That's a lot of capital to move up. Now, if they're sitting there, let's say we're at pick 43, random number that shows off the top of my head, and there's a safety that they like or an edge rusher that they like, then I could see them making the move up.
Okay.
That's where I think it makes some sense there. I don't think it'd be round 1, but I think in general, safety or edge is where they target if they wanted to move up.